Derrick White got hot finally, and these house cats we know as the Boston Celtics got on a roll, got the win, and head back home after a successful road trip. I'll explain what that comment means right now on a bonus Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Jrue KP, tap in daily. Primetime dapping D White on the sideline. Raining Jays, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I got you covered every Monday through Friday. We got a bonus podcast today, Saturday night into Sunday morning, because the Celtics play on a weekend. I'll do a bonus podcast whenever they do that. Best bet there is to be subscribed to the show, so you get the show whenever I drop one. You can watch the show on YouTube, get into the comment section, let me know what you're thinking there. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis. I have been covering the Boston Celtics for about 20 years. I'm doing it right now as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. Find my written stuff over there. Today, we're talking about the Celtics' big 122-107 win. The lead got as high as 25 in this game. Fourth quarter was, they made a run. It's okay. Honestly, if the Celtics hadn't had a couple of bad fourth quarters, like the one against the Clippers and the one that cost them against the Hawks, I wouldn't have even thought twice about this fourth quarter, but it's fine. They came out a little slow. Then they got going. They came back in that first quarter. They took a brief lead, and then in the second quarter, things started rolling. Third quarter, Derrick White got going. And in the fourth quarter, like I said, not the best. I think they tried to slow down a little too much and play that game, but otherwise, a nice win after a slow start. Later on, I'll just a good road trip. I'll talk about that. Jayson Tatum's 3-pointers, my quibble, my little nitpick. Let's just start with this. Let's just start at the top. It's a bonus podcast. It's free flowing. It's a little less structured than my normal podcast, but they hit shots. 20 of 52 3-pointers. They hit 23 pointers. So this is 15-1 this season. They were talking about on ABC the stat over the past 2 years. I think this makes them 30-1 over the past 2 years when they hit 23 pointers. That's it's been, tough for the Celtics to get back up to that number lately, but they're out there. They're running good offense in this game. They put up 103 shots right away. 103 shots tells me a lot. It's one of those numbers. Individual stats don't tell a whole story, but whenever I see 103 shots, first of all, love it. Whenever I see 100 shots in the in a box score, I'm like, that team did a lot of good things, because you don't get to 103 shots just by running good offense. You got to get offensive rebounds, which the Celtics got 17. You got to get turnovers, which they forced 13 and got 21 points off of those turnovers. So you don't just have to, doesn't have to be just turnovers. It's live ball turnovers, which the Celtics forced. They had 4 steals in this game. And then, running off misses and stuff like that, points in transition, all of that stuff. It works in Boston's favor. All of that stuff. When you see it total up to 103 shots, you're like, okay, they've defended, they've rebounded. Not only that, they ran good offense. And it's funny, 44 of 103, so just under 43%. Not the best overall shooting night. 38.5% from 3 is slightly above average, so it's a good shooting night. Not great shooting night, but it's good. 33 assists on 44 made baskets. And yet they still got up 103 shots and they didn't shoot well. What does that tell you? Tells me that when they moved the ball, they scored. But there's still plenty of ISO. There's still plenty of like not great shooting, not great stuff. I think some of the early first quarter stuff and the fourth quarter stuff was indicative of that. The second and third quarter, in fact, let's just go take a look here. First quarter, the Celtics had 5 assists on 10 makes. Second quarter, they had 9 assists on 12 makes. So there you go. I said that stuff without even looking at the box score. Third quarter, 12 assists on 14 makes. So what I say, the second and third quarter were great. And then in the fourth quarter, back down to 7 assists on 8 makes. It's nice, but like only 8 makes. So the middle 2 quarters when the offense really started popping was the Celtics pulling away. 7 of 15 from 3 in that second quarter. That was Jrue Holiday. Jrue and Derrick White. I've said this before. I don't know how many times at this point. They're the bellwethers here. If Derrick White and Jrue Holiday together are putting up big numbers, then you know the Celtics are going to win. When you get 40 combined points from them, all right, 40 combined points on 13 of 29 shooting, 9 of 20 from 3, and 8 assists, that's too much. That's too much. If those two guys are doing that, there's no way the other team's going to win. I don't even have the stats in front of me to say when those two guys score 40 or more, what the record is. But I'm telling you, I guarantee you it's Celtics with a great many wins and very, very few losses, because they're not going to be that and the Celtics lose. You don't get 40 points from them and the Celtics lose because you're probably going to get like 20 something from Jaylen or Jayson or both. And if teams have to overreact to Holiday and White, that means other guys are getting shots, getting buckets. So 22 points for Jaylen, 24 for Jayson Tatum. Porzingis checks in with 18, 23 for White, 17 for Holiday. Like that, there you go. You're just piling it up one after another, after another, after another. So Derrick White, Jrue Holiday getting those shots, that tells me another thing. Like that tells me the Celtics have won. So I look at the box score without even having watched the game. 103 shots. Okay. That defense and rebounding is good. 40 points from Derrick White and Jrue Holiday. This is a win. This is a guaranteed win. I didn't have to even watch the game to tell you that that's a guaranteed win. And the fact that it was a 15-point game, I'd be surprised. The 25-point lead makes more sense. Good offense in this game. I thought the Celtics ran really good, solid ball movement. Again, second, third quarters especially. There's one, I highlighted this on Boston Sports Journal. It was kind of a set play where it was on the left side of the floor. Second quarter, Porzingis has the ball. Jayson Tatum dives. Derrick White lifts up, gets the pass. Tatum posts up, so it looks like it's a design play to get a Tatum post up. But Derrick White sees he has an easy path to the paint, so he turns the corner and dribbles. And from the other side, Jrue Holiday starts in the corner and he lifts up, so he gets to Derrick White's level. So when Derrick is looking out of the corner of his eye, he sees a clear shot to kick out. So good ball movement, 3 guys moving on the left side. Jrue Holiday, I think he had maybe Daniel Gafford, because they started Daniel Gafford trying to like hide and play off of Holiday. So Holiday, just as Gafford is looking at the paint, because his instinct is to protect the paint, Holiday just lifts up and gets an easy kick out 3-pointer. 4 guys moving in motion, off ball movement, cutting, all of that stuff, dribble penetration. It wasn't one of those obvious plays where we all see it like, whoa, drive, kick, swing, swing, drive, another kick, swing. Wow, look at all those passes. What great ball movement. This was just a simple little play that people probably forget, right? Now, Holiday was 5 of 10 from 3. This is one of the 5 makes, but you might not even remember what play I'm even talking about. But when I watched that, I was like, oh, yes, thank you. Because as one guy moved, the other guy moved. And as one guy made his dribble, the other guy saw it and moved. And the Celtics, when they're not playing their best, like that stuff isn't happening. There's a lot of standing around. There's maybe the lift from corner isn't quite up to that the level of Derrick White's drive, and it's harder to see. It's spacing. It's presenting options for the player. And if you don't move, if Jrue Holiday doesn't move, then Derrick White is stuck because he has committed to that drive, right? The Celtics offense is make your decision. What's the read in front of you? You make that read and then you drive and then you have another read to make. And this is Joe Mazzulla's offense is, in a lot of ways, it's just basically trusting your players. Players got to trust each other to make these right plays. If Derrick White drives and there is no passing option, then he has no read to make. There is no passing option. So if there's no passing option, his only option now is to continue the drive and then peel off if there's nothing there and reset the offense, which means everything that you've done is for nothing, and you've just wasted 5, 6, 7 seconds. You got to reset the shot clock or reset the play as the shot clock dwindles, or he's going to shoot. Or, if you take away an option for Derrick White, that means one of the other two has to happen. And if one of the other two, if the defense sees that, they can key in on one of those other two. So you key in on his shot, you force him to drive, and now the Celtics offense gets stagnant because now somebody has to make an ISO play. That's, in a nutshell to me, the problem the Celtics have been having. When other guys on the team get tired or lazy or whatever, that takes away the options. And when you take away the options, all you have is ISO. And if all you have is ISO, then the Celtics offense starts to get bad. So good offense for the Celtics. And what happens when the offense is good? Amazingly, the defense gets good. That's shocking, but obviously sarcasm there. But you hear Joe talk about it, and you'll hear Brian Scalabrine talk about it, and it's something that I think I'm really trying to give this the same energy as well. Offense and defense, it's not like football where, okay, now we're on offense. Oh, now we're on defense. It all flows into the same thing. You run good offense, you make your baskets, then that means you get to set your defense. That helps your defense because you get to go back down the other end of the floor while the other team is pulling the ball out and jogging the ball up, and you get to go, okay, my guy. Boom, done. Got it. You're matching up, which means the other team has to work hard to create some sort of mismatch. And you're prepared. You know what you're trying to do. We're switching on this play. We're switching 1 through 4. We're switching 1 through 5. Whatever it is, you now have you've set yourselves. You get to your brain. You go, okay, here's the defensive game plan. And you have time to execute that and communicate. And when you make your buckets, you want to make more buckets. So what do? Let's play some good defense. Let's rebound because I want to come down and score more buckets. So the Celtics rebounded pretty well, I think. Offensive rebounding was great. Like I said, 17 offensive rebounds. They probably had 3 or 4 in one possession there towards the end. But it was the offensive rebound was really good. Luke Cornett, Peyton Pritchard gets in there for offensive rebounds. Al Horford gets in there for offensive rebounds. You get Jrue Holiday flying in from the corners. The corner crashes are great. Derrick White, Porzingis obviously was going to get a couple no matter what. The Celtics did a great job with their rebounding overall. Joe did say, like, we have to get better at our defensive rebounding, but still, it's they did a good job there. They protected the ball. They only had 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers for 10 points. That tells you that the other team scored on every one of those turnovers, but they had 0 turnovers at halftime. My nitpick, Jayson Tatum's 3-point selection. He was 4 of 12. If you've been a regular listener, an everydayer, you probably remember me talking about, I want to say last year or the year before, where Tatum went through a stretch like this. And it's he's searching for his 3-point shots. He's searching for a rhythm. He's searching for some consistency, and he's forcing it. I think he's forcing it. I think he's taking good shots, but he's not taking great ones. And I think he's taking the first good 3-pointer that he can get. And I just feel like he should be working the offense a little bit more, just a little bit more, because the ball will always find him. For him to get 12 3-point opportunities, that's going to happen almost anytime he wants, right? I'm never concerned. Tatum cannot go into if he takes a couple of bad ones in the first quarter, it can't be like, well, I don't know when I'm going to get my opportunity. He would never say that, but I don't want that to be the feeling. He's always going to have the opportunity to get 12 3-pointers up if he wants. But he's not getting into any flow of the game right away to start this. So I want to see Tatum just get into more of a flow before he starts taking some of these 3-pointers. Now, I understand there may be opportunities right away where you don't know. It could be, why don't you take a shot 3 seconds into a game if the defense has dipped below the 3-point line and you step into an in-rhythm 3? Of course, you want to take that shot. That's fine. I get it. But it's the ones where he comes off the screen and I feel like you could probably drive it, but those 50-50 opportunities, like, he's just shooting all of those. So I wish he would be a little bit more selective with the 3-point shots. Again, I have no problem with him taking 12. I just want him to take 12 good ones. And that's all. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown had a really good game. Lots of mid-range shots, and I think those all worked. Porzingis had a good game. Pritchard off the bench was good, I thought. A couple of offensive rebounds. Derrick White was amazing. One of those Pritchard offensive rebounds led to Derrick White's first 3-pointer, and this was a key moment in the game. Derrick White misses a 3-pointer there. 3:40 and change to go in the game in the second quarter, in the first half. 3:40 something to go. Jrue Holiday swings it to Derrick White, takes a corner 3. I think it might have been Gafford who was bearing down on him, but not really. It was mildly contested. I don't think he was at any real risk of blocking that shot. Ball kind of like rims in and out, right? Like I joked on Boston Sports Journal that the ball kind of like dipped its toe into the rim. It was like, nope, too cold, and bounced out. Peyton Pritchard gets the offensive rebound. Kind of gets, I think it's Porzingis that tipped it. Peyton Pritchard gets it, and then it goes out to Derrick White in that left corner, and he drills it. And the whole bench is up behind him. As the ball is up in the air, the whole bench gets up. And, I mean, they almost envelop him from, like, that sideline. Sam Hauser gives him a big push, like the celebratory push. And next thing you know, it's 4 out of his next 6 that he hits, or that one, he was 0-4, and then that one was 4 of his next 6. And he gets going. 16 points in the third quarter. When Derrick White gets going like that, it's the Celtics are just on a roll. So, look, good game. The Mavs are, decimated by injury. So this is much like the Golden State game. This is what you're supposed to do to a Mavs team that's in this spot. They tried what they could. They tried some zone. Did not go well. And this is exactly what a good team's supposed to do to a team like Dallas that's not itself. Luka Doncic still out. They had a bunch of guys out. So we'll see what happens the next time the Celtics see Dallas, but this is a Dallas team that's just hoping to stay afloat until everybody gets back. So good job by the Celtics. I thought, like I said, offense looked mostly good. Defense looked good because of the flow off of the offense. They protected the ball well. Guys hit shots. Most of the guys played well. A great win. After the game, Kristaps Porzingis was gold. Just absolute gold after the game. I made the house cats crack at the top of the show. And you're probably like, when are you going to explain the house cats thing? Well, Porzingis, after the game, talked about last year to this year. He said, last year, let me get the quote here. We were like a lion last season. Some games this year, we've looked like a house cat. We want to have that spirit as a team this year, and it's tough. And first of all, that's just classic Porzingis. It's great stuff. He also said we're working towards getting our killer instinct back, which that and the lion house cat thing is an admission from Porzingis. Like, hey, you know what? He said it. He said it in the interview. They are the championship is kind of like taking some of that killer instinct away. They have struggled in their afterglow of a championship to find that thing that makes them hungry, like the Cavs have been hungry or the Thunder have been hungry. Now, the Cavs, by the way, have lost 3 games in a row. And I want to say 5 of their last 8. Celtics are now just 4.5 games back. But, you take a couple of those losses, the Toronto loss, the Hawks loss, like they shouldn't have lost to Toronto. They should not have lost to the Hawks. They blew that game. That could be a 2.5 game lead. And I've said before, and I still believe it, Celtics own the matchup advantage right now against the Cavs. I still believe that. They can start a series against the Cavs in Cleveland, and I still think they're going to win. And I'll repeat it. They could play all 7 games in Cleveland, and I still think the Celtics would win that series because they own the matchups. Cleveland's coming back down to earth a little bit. Can the Celtics find that thing inside them that makes them hungry again and maybe pursue that top seed? They don't need it, but hey, be good to have, just to have it. It's like that Arrested Development, like when Tobias and what's her name are buying the house, and it's like, you want to get the guest house, so you have it, and all of that stuff. So you want to get the top seed, so Lindsay, so you have it. You want to get the top seed, why not? And hey, look, just not for nothing, but I'm sure Celtics ownership would love the top seed. And instead of starting a series in Cleveland, let's get 2 games in Boston, at least 2 games in Boston. And hey, maybe, another 2 if the Cavs do win a game or 2 in Cleveland. You want to at least have that home court revenue, right? But the Celtics clearly are not the, not the hungriest team, not like they were before. And Porzingis admitted that. It's can they get that killer instinct back? They can do it in spurts. Like, this game was great. This game was exactly what you want from the Celtics. I think any one of these games can be the point where it's like, okay, here we go. But who knows what's going to happen? The Monday, Celtics are playing the Rockets. Rockets just beat the Cavs twice. So they've got 2 straight wins against the Cavs. They're on a roll. They got revenge on their mind. That's going to be a tough game. First game back from a long road trip. Always talking about that's always a tough game. The energy's not always there. Maybe the energy will be there because it's Ime Udoka, and the Celtics want to have, like, they don't want to lose to him, and the Rockets are going to bring some energy. So maybe they'll be fine there, but overall, we'll see. That's a wait and see. But the Celtics, and like I said, Kristaps Porzingis flat out said it. He's honest. The guy's honest. We'll see if they can get that killer instinct back. This is a good start, but you don't know if it's a great start until they build 2, 3, 4 of these wins together. The All-Star break is coming up around the corner, so there is a little bit of a feeling of just get to that and go from there, but I'd love to see them build on that. And consistency is only a few made shots away. So Holiday's on a little bit of a roll. White's getting on a little bit of a roll. If that can continue, if that confidence is there, Derrick White after the game said bringing KP back does have an impact. That changed a few things. So that clearly, I mean, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's mentioned that bringing KP back has impacted the team. There's not a shock that this inconsistency happened once he got back. We have kind of expected it to be a little bit difficult to work him back in because it's tough to get back into shape and all that stuff, but maybe they're past that. Maybe they're getting past that. So I guess we won't know until we see how, the perspective of 5 games, like these little segments of, okay, here's a win, starting point now. What do you do moving forward? We'll see what they do. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. That's been the podcast. I say, like, I keep going into this saying, like, oh yeah, it's going to be a bonus show. I'm not going to talk as much. 28 minutes into the show, here I am, still blah, blah, blah. So thanks for listening. I'm shutting up now. Thanks for watching on YouTube. Appreciate you doing that. Would love it now if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody that they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.